I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be in whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder. You may call me obsessive, but I just border on being a collector and being a dragon that sits atop my treasure. That's so shiny. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder, and my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so Alonzi. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be in whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder. You may call me obsessive, but I just border on being a collector and being a dragon that sits atop my treasure. That's so shiny. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder, and my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so Alonzi. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. 'Cause I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be in whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder. You may call me obsessive, but I just border on being a collector and being a dragon that sits atop my treasure. That's so shiny. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder, and my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so Alonzi. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral disorder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so Alonzi. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice hoarder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice hoarder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice hoarder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice hoarder and proud to be. In whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice hoarder. You may call me obsessive, but I just border on being a collector and being a dragon that sits atop my treasure. That's so shiny. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice hoarder, and my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so Alonzi. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice hoarder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice hoarder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice hoarder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice hoarder and proud to be. In whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice hoarder. You may call
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. It just makes me concerned about helping.
Assuming you don't. Well, I have a different.
Yeah, make sure you build in a fatal flaw when you do this.
I was pondering doing monk, like monk wizard or something. With this.
As it turns out, monks are not natively very good grapplers.
Yeah,
You get stunning strike
they
is all
do
you
pick up
get.
stunning strike.
I mean, stunning strike's good. I mean, the problem is you can only work with like what 5 levels of monk
Yep.
if you want to get anti-magic. So
Yeah.
You only
there's
have
not
a couple
lot
of
there.
points. It's mad as hell because the DC would be what, wisdom based?
Anti-magic field has no DC.
Stunning strike.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, you could go cleric monk and lose some of the
That would
mana,
help.
but like I don't know if that would be worth it. Because I mean, if you're going cleric, you can pretty easily pick up heavy armor. So unarmored
this is
kind of pointless. You're not
this is also an exercise less in build optimization from a player point, and more of I'm designing interesting monsters that happen to be modeled after player characters.
Don't limit yourself.
Yeah, whenever we have another level 21 shot, I'll be sure to roll one of these up.
Yeah, this will be
so to speak.
I mean, if you really want to murder them, just roll a transmutation or a divination wizard.
Mm-hmm. I did notice after the fact the legendary resistance would have worked. Because you have a reaction before your initiative comes up. Which is counterintuitive, totally true.
Yeah.
How do you know I'm not already throwing a divination wizard at them?
I approve.
Some of the shit planned is fucking cruel.
Half the people
Don't
are
forget
like,
to
level
gust
14,
of wind
15.
after you disintegrate, so that they can't collect the ashes.
Of course.
Of course.
I actually didn't have any disintegrates in there. I had some other nasty shit though. Maybe I'll have to add some more glyphs of.
Oh boy.
All right.
But enough about the ways to kill those other people. How about us?
Yeah. So this might end up being very short, or it might not, depending on how things go.
I'll have more haiku queued up.
Because I did end up statting this motherfucker, and he is a bastard. And I know you might try and fight him.
Is this gonna be an insult to us bastards?
He is technically also that kind of bastard. I think. Oh. But yeah. So it might go very quickly. It might not. Also, somehow I'm certain that you fuckers will choose some path that I haven't thought of out of this. So bear with me if I need to start quickly drawing maps. Yeah. Other than that, let's get started on the actual game of D&D we're here to play, shall we?
Okay.
Fine.
If we have to.
I mean, we can keep discussing ways to fuck over my other players if you guys really want. But,
No, I need some time to research first.
Well, that's not on.
I know we're gonna have a TPK, but geez, seriously.
You probably won't TPK. Y'all have pulled off some major fucking bullshit. Well, you might TPK. You might TPK on phase 3. Phase 3 is where things start to get really unfair.
That's when
But
Genoa
phase
comes
1
down
and
and we
phases,
get the slow version of
phases 1 and 2 are
theme.
fine. Phase 3 is where Tiamat swoops from the sky and attacks.
Of course.
5 breath weapons at 16 d10 each.
That don't recharge and instead proc off legendary actions. Because that's actually what Tiamat does.
Wow.
It's fucking...
Goddess of power and domination.
Yep. Limited magic immunity to 6th level. Fucking 5 different breath weapons. Like 6 different damage immunities.
Have you considered just having a few wizards using Dominate Person and just make the party fight themselves?
See, one of the other DMs in this group did that already, though, and I don't want to repeat them.
That's fair.
Yes, we're not going back to the magical land of Neon.
Fuck that place. Yeah. So D&D.
Yes.
Who remembers where we were last time you guys left off in this wonderful, wonderful world?
Well, we
Sorry, my notes
the
are still
hanging tree
loading.
thing. We got everybody out of there. Got back to the Opal Enclave. Had a bit of a chat. Left Warhazer in their care. went back to Helgi Domer, got our reward for the thing, and found out that we got a meeting with the Primarch in 3 days, so we had some downtime. People were learning how to make pizzazz, buying various things. Let's see. Shit. I feel like there was something I'm missing, and I'm
We
sadly...
did actually get to the Primarch. We went to his
Yes.
castle.
Yes. It was very full of guards and no actual other, like, government people or any other civilians, and it kind of weirded us out. But we eventually got to the Primarch, and that's where we left off.
You sure did.
Oh yeah, also, the whole fucking thing with the fucking princess stories that nobody asked questions about. And yes.
Yep. You did eventually get to the, you did eventually get to the Primarch himself. You got to that, you met that lovely fellow who nobody asked any questions to. And you got to the Primarch himself. And there was nothing at all suspicious along the way. Nothing at all. Alrighty. So, the Primarch welcomes you all into his office. Please. Come in. Sit. He gestures at 4 chairs in front of an empty desk in his Spartan office. Please, take a seat. We have so much to talk about.
Well, hesitant to that, but go and sit.
Chris, are you there?
Yep.
Cool. I just hadn't heard you yet.
Y'all were talking up a fierce conversation, so I couldn't get much of a word in.
That is fair. Well, the rest of you sit.
Yeah, I'll go sit down. How comfy is the chair?
It's just bare wooden. You know, the sort of thing that looks like it was just carved out of one hunk of wood. No, like, back support, just straight back, fully wooden.
He's got to stick up his ass. Everyone must.
Sounded more like he had a stump up his ass.
It reminds me of the uncomfy pews.
Yeah, actually, it'd be pretty close to a pew.
See, this is why I became a traveling priest.
So good of you all to come here. So good indeed. Why do you all think you're here?
That never starts off a conversation well.
Well, the I think given reason was that we became bold adventurers, but I think really we're here to talk to you about the world ending.
A good answer. I was hoping to have a talk with you all about that exact same thing.
Good, we're all on the same page then. Or at least the same book.
Something of that nature. Now, you have to understand something. I do not tolerate dissent or enemies in this matter. You have three choices, from my perspective, to leave this room. You will leave it as willing vassals of mine, working under my direction. You will leave it having sworn an oath, truthfully and enforced by magic, to never interfere with what I am doing. Or you will leave it dead. Is that understood?
Sigh.
Great timing, Jeff. He just threatened your life if you didn't work for him.
Kristona just sighs.
It sounded like he also wanted us just not to mess with anything he's doing.
Yeah.
So we're dead if we work with him, which will directly mess with what he's doing.
I mean, our answer kind of depends on what your plans are. Can't really agree to anything without knowing that.
My plan is to build a united Yualia. Well, I know some of what you've been doing. You went and spoke to Prim. You found one of the fragments of Nolan that are around. It seemed like you were spending a good bit of time fighting Trinity. And then you've just fucking bailed on all of that. In the meantime, they've been having a great time over in the wild spaces, wondering who the hell that random bunch of adventurers were that fucked with them, and where they are now. Finding new chunks of Nolan, working their way towards opening Hacius's prison, just having a great time working unfettered. While you've gone doing whatever you've been doing. My diviners saw you head to an island on the west side of the strait, and then you just vanished. Until a couple of weeks ago, you arrived in a cranes. My goal is to bring every civilization on Yualia. If not under my direct control, then under a global alliance. I will conquer with words rather than swords if I must. But they will all bow. And I will use that belief to forge a world without gods. Does that answer your question, priest?
Out of character, just because it's been a while since we've actually dealt with the main plot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right?
Yes, I know it has.
The world ending.
Yeah.
What was the direct action through what that was going to make that happen?
It's not like a specific action that's going to happen. It's basically the two of the three gods that made the world are fucking fighting each other, and basically trying to free the big chunks of godly power that they put into the world and that are currently holding it together.
So that they can fucking leave.
Yeah, so they can leave. the third god who made the world kind of tricked them into binding themselves to it. And so they got pissed off and beat the shit out of him and imprisoned him. And now they're doing their best to get free.
Okay, so it's not something inherent about Yualia. It's just the fact that these two are trying to wreck things.
Yeah.
Remind me if we know this. If the two gods leave, Yualia falls apart?
If either of them leaves.
Yeah,
Right.
that's at least. Yeah, that's why other people are trying to find ways of countering that somehow in various forms.
Okay, that's what I remembered. But this guy wants to kill the gods?
Yeah, no, that's probably going to be Digoroy's actual response is, hold up. If you get rid of the gods, doesn't the world fall apart?
If there isn't a replacement to hold the world together, then yes.
Ah, what were you planning on using as a replacement?
Belief.
You are
see,
trying to become a new god?
No. Gods, no. I am sure you've noticed the gods on this plane are assholes.
Giving like a slight cant of the head at that.
Yes, we know.
Unyielding assholes who trample mortals and their realms beneath their feet.
So I'm not really hearing where you wouldn't fit in.
Because I am not a god. And because when this is done, I will die.
Curious of that. Can I insight that? Is he being...
Go ahead and make an insight check. Yeah, Cristona, as far as you can tell, he's being honest.
Die?
Okay, belief in what?
In a united world. But no matter what happens, Yualia will continue to stay strong. In the concept of Yualia, a single city, a single country, even this whole continent is not enough. Every mortal mind upon it must believe. The same sort of worship and belief that you would share, with which they accept that the gods exist, that Atula and Gamir are truly there. They must accept that what our world is.
To create the world as divine in the way that we druids believe the balance is divine. Well, aside from Atula.
Yes. People must... They can't just... I've researched this extensively. It can't just be people who believe in a single country being strong or even their region. It has to be everybody.
Okay, this definitely has merit as a plan.
Well, how exactly do you plan to enforce a belief on people?
The same way we do here. It starts young, continues. You have the messages in all the shops that proclaim Yualia united as one. You have the stories that they learn as children. The heroes they learn to worship.
And you need
Requires
literally
control.
everybody?
Ah, it's... He opens a slight drawer on his desk and checks a figure really quickly. We estimate we will require, based on our best census estimates and population numbers for uncountable areas, we'll require roughly 90% of the population born within the next 200 years. Not quite everyone. And it depends upon fervency of belief and strength of mind, but he shrugs a little. It's difficult to quantify when there's no exact precedent for something on this large a scale.
So, one more out of character question.
Yeah, huh?
He's talking about a plan that's taking hundreds of years. Was the threat to the world more imminent than that?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
You've got
I think a
two,
couple
three-
hundred years is cutting
the
it
last,
close, but
the original figure you got was 200-300 years in the future. You know, this isn't something that's going to happen tomorrow. Or the next week or next month or next year.
yeah, but his plan taking a couple hundred years is cutting it close.
Okay. So yeah, he's basically planning on saving it just in the nick of time, assuming everything goes well.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll say it out of character that your timeline seems to be cutting it pretty close there. What if something goes wrong? I mean, you're not really giving yourself a lot of alternatives here.
Yes. But it's the best chance that mortals have for true freedom. No gods. By the time everything's done, no kings. Just me. And once I'm Once peace comes, I'll go too.
Mm-hmm. What about after that?
After that,
I mean, after you're dead, because you're
yes.
totally dying. And a few generations have gone past, and nobody remembers threat to the world. What happens when people stop believing as fervently as you need them to?
The alternative is that I continue to live on as a tyrant, similar to what I am now. Your point is taken.
I mean, that's not the only alternative.
There is... I have... I've been working on a way to harness their belief. It's not nearly complete, because I am not a mage. Not in the same vein as others, anyways. And because the potential future that we're talking about is probably somewhere in the range of 800 years in the future. Something to harness the belief of that moment of that time, and use it as a continual source to keep things together.
Your plan is not so different from the gnomes, in a sense. He was a gnome, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The difference is the duck's a fucking fool. He's too stuck in the past to actually accomplish it. He literally growls at the mention of the gnome.
We do not
Interesting.
entirely understand. You are both seeking to remove the gods entirely and instead implement a separate source of power to keep Yualia running.
Yes. And Duck actually wants to tie it all to him. There's no... Duck, fool that he is, thinks that he can save this world by himself. He made that very clear to all of us. That he didn't need anyone else.
But you are considering yourself the focal point to bring everyone together. Does that not mean you are needed until that point?
I'm not needed. Just a convenient pawn. Anyone with the knowledge and the same knowledge as I have would do the same thing. Foolish as you are, and as apparently flighty as you can sometimes be, even you are trying to do something about it.
We are looking for a way to achieve the same ultimate goal.
Mm.
And I, for one, see a lot of merit to your plan. Not totally sold yet, but
We are also unsure, but can understand. We have been attempting to see how we can harness nature's power without explicitly pulling from a Tula that is in the same vein as a divine source beyond them.
One more out of character question.
Sure.
What exactly was our plan?
You didn't have one.
yeah, we haven't.
We've been going around trying to see what the
all
other
these
plans
people,
are.
I'm
So
like, eh.
Well,
Kristona has been insisting that you all go learn from other people.
I feel like we at least had maybe not like a decided plan, but some
had some
potential
options.
plans
Yes,
thought out.
the one was like bringing in another god from outside to take over instead.
Yes, you
Right.
proposed trying to bring in. I think it was you proposed trying to bring in like Tyr or somebody. To
I don't
fill
remember
the
who
void
said
with
another
Rome.
god, but then we all turned and looked at you. That was true.
Yes.
I think it was me.
The
Um.
thought of potentially becoming gods, finding a way to, or at least
Oh, yeah.
get enough power to do so.
Apotheosis was theorized about.
Hmm.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Sounds like fun to
The
me.
awesome god. Are you kidding me?
Sounds like a terrible idea.
I feel like of all of the four of you, I'd trust Bauer to be a god most because he would just be the god of tits and wine.
Isn't that what
Worshippers,
Yualia is really
if you
about?
need 90% of the population to worship you,
Exactly. Everybody just has a really good time.
What's not to love?
This is turning into Warhammer 40k really fast. This is the Eldar shit.
and now this guy wants to be the god emperor.
Exactly. That's the first thing I thought of.
Out of character. Do you think it's a fucking coincidence that he's called the Primarch?
No.
Nothing's a
He is at least partially inspired by 40k.
I figured, yeah.
There is also a reason why I gave a big I do not endorse any of his politics disclaimer before you guys got here.
Yeah. It's a sign from our Lord on Terra. Everyone must go fuck themselves. Fucking
So,
hell.
in character, I mean, it seems to me like your real like main problem with your plan is, or the main two problems with your plan are that A, you don't have anybody who's actually experienced with harnessing this power of belief efficiently and effectively, and that you're running into real risks of actually generating enough belief to do it your way. Have you considered the fact that not all gods are dicks? Have you heard of the light of Tyr?
Oh, no.
Yes. Yes, I have. Let me ask you something. Have any of the... I know you've run into a few of my former fellows. Have any of them told you the story of the time we met the gods?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, Nolan must have told you. He loved that story. Rubbed it in my fucking face.
Did he?
You see, once upon a time, I was a paladin. Paladin of Tyr. We stood before the gods at the end of our journey. They summoned us. Atula, Gamir, and all the rest. Mistra, Tyr, Torm, Ilmater, Bahamut, Helm, all of them. I went and I kneeled before Tyr, and I told him of the battles I'd fought, of the realms I'd conquered, and of all that I'd done in his name. And he looked down at me, blind though he was, and he laughed. Right in my fucking face. Said that what I'd done was worthless to him. Said that what I'd done was worthless to him. Said that what I'd done was worthless to him. That it hadn't been just enough for him. And on that day, I was no longer a paladin. After giving him my whole fucking life. He did give me a lovely gift, though. You know why I'm going to die when all of this is done? Go on. Guess.
Are you a revenant?
No. No. It would be simpler. Tyr's gift to me for saving Yualia was immortality. Until all conflict on this world is resolved. All of it. Till that's done, I stay alive.
Yeah, just trying to get a pin on Sadok's reaction to this.
Oh, we're obviously dealing with an insane blackguard. Pretty sure he just needs to die.
Well, I'm going with the he was not a good paladin.
Yeah. Clearly not. I mean, he describes his own actions as being judged as unjust.
Yeah.
And doesn't really argue against it.
That's fair.
You can certainly try. I mean, there's a pretty good argument to be made for him not having been a very good paladin.
Well, I mean, like, he doesn't even argue against it. Like, he doesn't try to say, like, oh, but Tyr was bullshit. Everything I did was great. He's just kind of like...
Oh, I thought the Tyr was bullshit was implied in how he was talking about it.
Well, he clearly believes that, but he's not like going on about how I brought peace and stability, how I created... No, I conquered things.
Yeah, it's, I conquered things, look how great I am. I'm the only one who can do this thing, but Tyr doesn't like me, so he's the asshole. So I feel like really what I'm thinking here is, could I actually put a crossbow bolt between his eyes before the guards come into the room?
Here's my question. Even if you could, would that slow him down?
No, considering he got the
Yeah,
thing from
and see,
fucking
I think
Tyr.
I think the answer to both of those questions is no.
Yeah.
You can certainly try. He does have stats. By the Lord British postulate, he can be killed. Rarely, at least.
But if he got the thing from Tyr, would that cancel each other out?
I don't know. Well, I do know, but I'm not telling you.
More importantly, I don't think he can be reasoned with.
Can I get an insight on whether he thought all that stuff was still, like, good and aligned with Tyr? Or whether he was just implying that, like, he did good shit. And I don't, this is rough.
Make an insight check. You could also just, like, ask him in character questions about it.
Yeah. Doesn't know what the fuck like, Tyr is not her forte.
That's, an option as well. Well, murder is not it's not outside of the realm of possibilities. I thought you guys would try. He looks bitter, but kind of resigned to it. I guess is the best way to put it.
Even if your plan works perfectly, and you unite the whole world and save it from destruction, that's not going to end conflict.
It's the best chance I have.
So is what you do for the sake of the world or the sake of ending your tie to Tyr?
I would say the world. When after everything happened, I was angry. I spent a while figuring that my best option for ending all conflict was just killing everybody who showed even a hint of wanting conflict. Then I ended up here, at the foot of the mountain. And I sort of accidentally started a settlement.
Accidentally.
It's a long story. Well, not an especially long one, but I killed a bandit leader who'd set up a fort at the base of the mountain, and took over his fort, killed all his followers. All the people around started coming in for sanctuary because they'd heard that I was at least less of a murderous bastard than the last murderous bastard to occupy this place. And suddenly I was the leader of a little settlement. He gestures vaguely to the fort that you guys have found yourselves in. And thence came Helgidom, sanctuary. It's Tyr was an asshole, and I hate him, and I will never work with him. But I understand, I think, at least part of what he was trying to tell me. That I need to at least that I need to live for others. So he kind of gestures again to the air, to the country that you're standing in. The richest, most powerful country on Yualia. He shrugs. And the plan.
Yeah, because I was just thinking all this over for a long while. We have some understanding. There is safety in numbers, safety in sameness. Is that the word? Similar thoughts, similar focus.
There is.
However, too much of the same, and things can become difficult.
There is a strength in diversity. You are
Nature
correct.
requires it to continue.
Exactly. Which is why we haven't just started taking the entire world by the sword and repopulating it with people from Helkidomer. Our reach extends beyond just military. It's a matter of political and economic and cultural domination as well. We spread it. We promote unity of idea while not overriding diversity of origin, so to speak. It's a delicate path.
Extremely delicate.
But it's one that only a handful of people are even aware of, and even fewer can chart a course in.
It is one we are not entirely opposed to in the theory. We have been trying to understand many ways of writing the problem, and we considered how the magic works without gods, without strictly the arcane. We are certainly intrigued by it, though we have only your research and words and our minimal experience to understand it ourselves. Like looking over at like Digoroy and Bauer and Sadok and We do not know if we are alone in the thinking, though Digoroy seems to somewhat understand.
A little. It's. I can follow the music, but I can't always follow the words.
We both have
Understandable.
had ties to the gods we no longer wished for, but others do not.
Yes, I can smell it on both of you. Not a cleric, but even I can tell that much.
We would wish to know more about how more of a concept, belief in a concept, can keep an entire world from falling apart. Druids believe in the balance, but many have believed in Natula being the same. We no longer believe that, but whether that is enough in and of itself, we do not know.
Oh no. Okay. Um, it's less. I'm trying to think of how best to explain this. Or how best to have him explain it in character, rather. Because none of y'all are. Okay. It's. Well, the easiest way would be to show you, but that's difficult to do here. He rummages into his desk briefly and pulls out a tuning fork and lays it on the desk in front of him. That's yours if you ever wish to visit one of the more interesting places that belief has wrought.
Arches a brow.
But belief... Sorry?
Oh, just give that, like, arch a brow, what? kind of look.
It's a tuning fork to the city of Sigil.
Say what?
Vacation to Sigil.
A place where... A city that stands in the middle of the infinite multiverse, at the top of an infinitely tall spire. A place where belief causes the streets to give birth to other streets. Where, if you go to the right places and speak to the right people, you can witness debates where others debate others out of existence by destroying their belief in themselves. Belief is not... It's not something that can easily be harnessed. It simply is. It is part of how the world functions. It's part of how gods gain their power are part of how everything exists. Because mortals believe it does. And if enough mortals believe that this world will stay intact no matter what, then it will. If enough mortals believe that I have a chicken's beak and communicate exclusively through squawks, I will. If enough mortals believe that hidden in the stars above Yualia, there is a fortress haunted by the lost dreams and souls of those who die with regrets, then it'll be so. Belief shapes the world and the things that live in it. Whether we like it to or not.
We believe we understand, as unnerving as that can seem.
It is not exactly a comforting idea, I know. But it is beautiful in its own way.
I am definitely going to need some time to process this.
Take all the time you wish, as long as you remain within this room.
How was it that your mages are intending to collect this belief?
They only have preliminary ideas right now. It's not as much as I hate to admit it. It's the one part of things that we haven't completely solved. Out of character. For the record, the insane blackguard angle is not off the table. Follow your dreams. Do what seems right.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how to do that.
Is that why you've gone so quiet?
Well, I mean, I feel like there's not much point in talking to him. He's clearly insane.
Yeah, I don't feel like we're gonna reason with this guy.
Yeah. Like, out of character, I'm just having the hardest fucking time just because, like, this is why I don't normally play, like, belief-based characters of any kind.
How so?
Just, I'm very bad with theology and, like, thoughts of dealing with, like, stuff on God scale and, like, mass, like, religious
Also,
type stuff.
Like his initial reaction of the only way I'm gonna lose this immortality is if everybody else is dead is probably accurate.
Yeah, no, that is the
So,
correct answer.
Like, I think in the long run, unless he's like stopped and killed, he is more likely to end Yualia than Atula and Gamora are.
Yeah. He is definitely an existential threat to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he got that wrong, but because we do know he doesn't pay close attention to Tyr anyway.
That'd be a fun divination. Like, did he get that wrong, Tyr?
Yeah. Is Primarch still in the room with us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not leaving.
And he also wants us to make up our mind before we leave as to fight him or join him. If I heard that little bit.
Your options are, well, his options for you that he gave you guys for leaving the room are leave as basically his vassals, leave as having sworn not to work against him or take any action on this, which he said he will enforce through unspecified magical means. And or leave dead.
Yeah, technically he didn't offer us a fight.
Mm-hmm.
You are technically correct.
So, yes, internally, not out loud, ask Nolan what exactly he remembers about this meeting with Tyr.
You get a chuckle back from Nolan. That's about what happened to him.
The
God.
phrasing there accurate? That he is immortal until all conflict is ended?
Yep. You should have seen the look on that smug asshole's face when his god told him, not only in front of his party, but in front of all the other gods, that he was wrong.
What exactly did he do that he kind of glossed over in terms of, what made Tyr punish him like this?
Every place we went through, he insisted on conquering it. Or conquering some group within it if we couldn't spare the time or the energy to conquer the whole place. He was insistent, I guess is the best way to put it. Controlling. That's the best way.
So, really nothing's changed.
No. Except the severity. He was much more prone to the sword in the past. Now it seems like he's actually giving you a choice.
I mean, to be fair, it seems like he's still prefers the sword. He just will go with other methods if required. I mean, did you hear the wording on him earlier? He seemed to think that talking peace was what we'll do if we have to, whereas most people would lead with that and fall back to fighting if they have to.
Yeah, not too much has changed.
Well, any suggestions on fighting this guy? You've fought with him.
Don't let him get near you. If he does,
Look
you
around
will
the
never.
presumably small room. Might be a problem.
Yeah. If he gets near you, you will never get away.
Any suggestions for getting out of here?
I don't suppose any of you can teleport in some way.
Not that I'm aware of. Don't suppose you could channel another gate through me?
That might have very permanent side effects this time. I'm checking the cleric spell list to see if there's to see what sort of transportation stuff is on it real quick. If we'd thought about it in advance, I could attempt to use a ward of recall, but who knows where we'd end up.
How about a plane shift? We happen to have a forked metal rod attuned to a particular plane of existence in this room with us.
Do we actually have two? Didn't we get one at one point?
You have one. You have one that takes you back to Yualia, which is rather important for getting back.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
That moves this from a terrible idea to merely bad one.
You're not wrong. There's also the fact I'm pretty sure the forked sigil is the one that the wizard lady at the tower was looking for.
She was
In exchange for freeing what's his face. We
Ramus.
got Fetch to do it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yep, you did.
But we then would have
She
another
might
favor
still
for
be.
her.
She might still be interested in in getting that fork for unspecified magical favors, but
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we do that run away, then we just have he knows exactly what we've been fucking doing for the most part for a long time. So
I don't know. I think he only has a vague idea what we've been up to.
really,
Like what we told him, I think we told him significant information that was new to him, which is basically that we're working on the same problem he is, and we heard out his plan. And
Well,
assuming not silly.
who remembers what enchantments are on your airship? Just out of curiosity.
Jeff does not.
I think there's some divination stuff.
There is your entire airship is divination block.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a non-detection spell on it to block scrying.
So we'd basically have to live on the ship 24/7.
Until we find a way to deal with this dude. Once and for all.
Or find some other better way to
We get our mage to have make non-detection things for us.
potentially.
Yeah, Sophia.
feel like we might even already have had one at one point. You might have sold it.
I'm not sure if you did.
I don't think we did.
You
I was
have.
like, was that this party or some other party?
You have a.
mind shielding at some point. I guess it's not quite
Oh, that's true.
the same strength level, but I mean, there are magical items that we could buy to handle this.
I have a ring of mind shield, and I'm seeing if it's attuned. It is.
And you know, I'm sure we can find magical items of non-detection in Sigil.
Oh God,
throwing that out there.
Sigil is a much higher magic setting than this is. Oh boy, or a much more common magic item setting.
Woo!
Oh boy, I'll have to go find some other. Oh boy, all right.
So,
What have you wrought?
out of character.
Yeah.
Anybody have any better plans than plane shifting to Sigil? Because if not, I'm going to see if I can get my hands on that fork and go for it.
Do it.
Just double check with Nolan that he is good to force a plane shift through my body, and we'll see what burns and what doesn't.
Oh boy.
Well,
All right.
I have fucking plane shift. I don't.
Do you have it prepared though?
I made it one of my. I think I made one of my prepared because that's what I want. Like one that is like a backup just in case.
I mean,
I
if you can
knew-
do it, then go ahead. But
I need to get a hold of it. And know what
Persona?
yeah, right.
Sorry, say it again.
Would the idea occur to Cristona to plane shift you all out of here?
Not at the moment, but if things were
Because-
definitely going into a fight, then yes. But
Because at this point, like,
right now they don't know it's gonna be a fight.
all right. Well, I'm gonna ask in character. I'm gonna ask the Primarch if I can see that fork. Mention that I've got one tuned to Yualia. Just want to take a look at it.
make a deception check.
I think I'm decent at those.
Okay.
This is gonna go great.
Well, this is what I get for not giving him for not fully statting out his skills.
Does he not have insight proficiency? Did that just cost him his fork?
He does not have insight proficiency, but
He's damn good.
he does have 30 wisdom.
Yeah.
I could maybe use my thing to make him reroll that, but
What are you planning to do with this fork?
Well, like I said, I just, I'm interested in comparing it in sort of an academic study. I can't do anything with it myself. I'm afraid to say I'm not that kind of cleric.
Yes,
I can confirm he is not that kind of cleric.
but I imagine the Nolan in your head might be able to do something with it.
Oh, you know about that, do you? Lovely.
It was one of the four. It had to be one of the four of you who triggered it. Primordial's protections wouldn't open for him, and he points at Digroy, or her, and he points at Cristona. Too much of a Tulan Ganir on them. And frankly, your Kumashpekian friend doesn't seem like Nolan's preferred kind of host either.
Beckian?
Kumashpekian? I don't know. You're from the island of Kumashpek. I reserve the right to retcon what people from Kumashpek are called.
It's that or Coomerspeker.
Actually, that one would be more accurate.
Yeah, that's the Germanic construction there.
That does sound kind of dirty, though.
Since when has that ever stopped?
Coomerspeker does not seem like a nice thing to call someone.
It really sounds like it's some kind of slur.
Right, but based on what the word actually means, it would make more sense.
It would. All right, you're a Kummerspecker.
Works for me.
So yes, has to be you. What has he told you about me?
Oh, not much more than you've told us yourself.
Has he been laughing up there?
Only once.
Nolan, you're a fucking asshole.
Believe me, I tell him that daily.
Mm. Yes, well, you've known him for a few months. I adventured with the fucker for 20 years. 20 years with that asshole. I have a funny feeling I know what you're going to do with this fork. If I give it to you. Or if I let you take it. You're going to do something foolish.
Oh, I would never.
Of course not. Feel free. An idiot I knew once told me that there is always a choice. Even if it doesn't seem like there is. Always a choice.
So he said feel free. Is he actually giving me the fork?
It's
Or
sitting
letting me
on
grab
it's sitting on the desk in front of him. He's not holding on to it.
I'm just going to turn to Diggeroy and cock an eyebrow. He's AFK.
Oops.
Damn.
Primark's gonna keep monologuing while Diggeroy is AFK then.
Yeah.
An idiot I knew once told me that there's always a choice. Even if even if the other choice is death. Or
Who is the idiot?
Ramus. He is an idiot. But he has his flashes of insight from time to time. Even if the other choice is death, there's always a choice. And I respect that. I do.
You know, we've heard a lot about Ramus. I don't think respect is one of the things most people have mentioned in relation to him.
Oh, he's a fucking idiot. And I'd never work with him. Not again. But I do miss him sometimes. Things seem simpler with him around. The point
Out of
I was trying
I realized that he doesn't know that Ramus is back, because Ramus has been on the ship the whole time.
Ramus has not entirely been on
Well,
the ship,
That's true.
but
He probably still doesn't know that he's back.
yes. You assume correctly. You assume correctly. I do miss him. The point I was driving at is I respect that you may use this to do something stupid.
Ah.
But,
Alright, so Diggeroy, as you're back. So you missed part of the conversation as Primark offered the fork and told me I could take it and do something stupid if I wanted with it. So Sudoku is just turning to Diggeroy and raising an eyebrow. Do I go ahead and do something stupid with it?
pulled up. Digger gives you kind of a flat stare for a little while, and then just the very tiniest of nods.
Oh, we're doing
Sweet.
something stupid.
Nolan, hit it. Grab the fork.
Oh boy.
Oh, no.
Give me a second. I have to pull up all of my wild magics.
I was going to ask, did you expect this one?
I feel like you really should have.
To be fair.
I probably should have. Oh, what the fuck?
We get a good
You
one.
fucking asshole! They took down my wild magic table off the internet.
Oh, the big D10,000 one?
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to go find a different version of it or something.
What?
That's disappointing. Ooh, this is version 2.0.
Oh yeah, I see.
Oh, yeah,
2.0 now.
Alrighty.
Oh, so they just updated it.
Yep.
Yeah. I say they took it down because my bookmark for it wasn't working.
Yeah, they need to be cool and have a redirect for that book.
Yeah.
They really do. It just goes to a big page that's like, yes, this is under construction now. Sorry, but all right. So you say Nolan hit it.
Should have expected this with the tier cleric.
Look, it's fine. I might burn my brain out. It's okay.
You might.
I'm gonna have to
feel
reincarnate
like
you,
it's-
aren't I?
Still better than fighting the Primarch, and still better than joining the Primarch. So,
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, on one hand,
Is 64 damage less than your total health?
yes, I have 94. Well, now I have 30.
All right. So for starters, you take 64 damage as Nolan hits it, and your brain begins to fucking fry. And I need you to roll me 3 D10,000 and a D100.
shit.
The Primarch stands in front of you and looks on. All right. Enemies we are, then. And that's all he's going to say as you plane shift the lot of you away.
Hope you aced your test on making Pazza, Digger Boy. We ain't going back there.
All right. So you vanish, and for a brief moment, you find yourselves floating in a starry void. And you look down, and you can see Yualia floating beneath you. The shapes of the continents familiar. The sun standing in place just off to your left, rotating. And then it all disappears. And you find yourselves on grayish-brown cobbled streets, surrounded by people of various races and appearances, and some not people as well, as Sadok doubles over next to you all from the horrible fucking effects that this is going to have on him.
Well,
Yay!
Come on, potted plant.
So, Sadok, as you as you are teleporting, as you are plane shifting everybody, you feel immense pain in each of your bones. And as you land, you notice that there are what look like humongous gashes overlaid over each bone in your skeleton that immediately heal and leave you with scars in the shape of your skeleton drawn upon.
That's probably fine.
Okay, that one doesn't take effect just yet.
Lovely.
Oh, it's actually... you have a funny feeling that something is going to happen to the next person you kill, or who's slain near you. 6189. Cool. So you attempt to get up after your plane shift and are immediately knocked to the ground by some invisible force. For a little bit over 30 seconds, for 36 seconds exactly, in fact, you cannot stand, as every time you do, something knocks you down to the ground.
Help. I've fallen and I can't get up.
One of the things you get in Sigil, life alert bracelets. Is this Sigil looking around?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, I assume so. Though I'll let you know when I can get a view of something other than the ground.
See, I think I would pick him up, let him get steady, and then because I feel like he just needs help getting up, and then he'll be fine.
Sounds reasonable.
So, the Primarch is going to be attempting to kill us at any given point now, is he not?
Seems like it.
Yeah, we'll have to be careful about that.
Kid. Sadok.
Yeah, buddy.
That fucking hurt like hell.
Yeah, it did.
Good news. We've at least avoided anything.
Oh.
Bad news.
What?
I'm not casting anything anytime soon. And I don't think you should either.
Yeah,
Sigh.
that's probably right. I'm sure we can find like a nice spa around here or something and relax, right?
Doubtful. You're in the hive. As soon as I
The hive?
oh, that was out of character. As soon as I finish resolving all of this wild magic bullshit, I will give you a proper description of where in Sigil you've landed. All right. So, all right. So, For the next 3 days, Sidok, your strength becomes 3. And you take 1d10 necrotic damage per spell level, every time you cast a spell.
Oh, joy. You said for the next 3 days?
Next 3 days.
You can have those 22 hit points. It was mostly more of a poke of cure wounds.
Alrighty.
And Krista just sighs to themselves like, we are going to have more difficulty in visiting the Enclave now.
No, it's fine. We can go back. Got the other fork. You suggest somebody else do the driving next time?
You did not tell us exactly what you're going to do.
Well, didn't quite seem like the time. At the time. In retrospect, maybe I should have.
So, this is Sigil then, huh?
Yep. You have found yourselves in what is, looking around, clearly some sort of slum. You are surrounded by dirt-caked slums and battered tenements, and you can very easily see what looks like some sort of clandestine deals going on in the area around you. The streets are windy and dirty, but cobbled. Far on the what looks like the opposite end of the district from you, you can see enormous smokestacks belching smoke into the air. There doesn't appear to be any sun here. There's just some light. Uniform from above. Believe it or not, this is not one of the things I planned for you to do.
Really?
Surprise. Surprise.
Basically the Nolan fight 2.0. You even gave me the means to do it. Again.
Yeah, I know. I'm an idiot. Would you believe that I'm just an idiot?
I'm having a hard time getting my head around that concept.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
I can't tell if you're sarcastic or not.
That might be for the best. Oh. Was Sigil even on the desk until I asked that question? The weird fucking question I wasn't sure how to ask.
Sigil was not, in fact, on the table until you asked that weird question.
Hey.
I was not planning on giving this to you until I figured, I figured to myself, this would be a good place for them to go to just, experience the weird shit that belief can cause for themselves. They might be interested in that. I didn't expect for you to decide to fucking plane shift out of there with it. I'm just an idiot who decided to give you something that I thought was cool and,
To be fair, we couldn't actually experience it unless we agreed to any of the terms ahead of time, and that was a little fast.
yeah.
Derailing the plot as a party exercise.
Congratulations. Congratulations. I think you've hit the Henderson scale.
I'm actually really proud about that.
Henderson scale?
Henderson scale plot derailment.
Yeah, you should look it up. It's a great story.
Great story indeed. Yeah, you've hit 0.5 Hendersons.
Hey.
Woohoo!
So you're
Um,
saying I need to put in more effort.
What was
Gotta
the
do
last
it.
one?
Do it. I live for the bullshit you guys create. As much as I may bitch and moan, I live for this shit. I love when you guys exercise free will. It makes me happy. Which I know may kill your enjoyment of it, but
It's very ironic. So Sigil.
so Sigil. So you're kind of just in the slums of Sigil now. You're in what is known locally as the Hive Ward. People around you look at you and you hear them muttering, "Fucking Burks." What would you like to do now that you're in Sigil and have thoroughly derailed things?
First of all, trying to get bearings on
Yeah,
land that is extremely new.
because right now it just looks like any other city, except maybe a little bit more diverse.
Hmm. Mm.
So if we think hard enough, do we get a pointer towards the welcome center? Or... I believe there's a welcome center.
Yeah, I guess once Sudoku is capable of moving again,
It's capable of moving after a minute or two.
Oh my
start
god, everything
walking
hurts.
down the street.
Alrighty. Bum.
Tiggeroi. Next time I think about doing something like this, remind me not to.
Okay.
Somehow we feel as if you will still do it.
I mean, you're probably not wrong.
Probably.
We have become wiser.
I have to look up so many. This is an alarming amount of things I have to look up for you guys walking down a fucking street.
Everyone believe that we're at the welcome center and we don't have to go around. We just appear there. We believe we can teleport to the most useful place here for us right now. He did say it was all about belief.
Make a wisdom check.
He.
If you want to try and believe yourself to the Welcome Center, all of you make a wisdom check. Group wisdom checks.
22.
All
Wisdom or
around.
charisma?
Probably charisma, actually, right?
Sorry, character sheet crashed.
17, that would be a 7. Or if it was charisma, that would be 17 then.
I guess it kind of depends on how you're going about doing it, too.
Oh, if it's charisma, then that's a 10.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
rolled
used to
and was
this.
rolled by 11.
What is that total? So you're all attempting to believe that you can teleport to the Welcome Center. Oh boy. Alright. One of you roll me a D100.
Not it.
Oh, wise
I will
decision.
not take responsibility for this.
Oh!
Oh, wow.
Woo-hoo.
They're
Things
very good or very
actually-
bad.
Yeah, right?
It's very good.
Hey!
Congratulations. You had a 25% chance to actually land where you wanted to. Or to the closest fucking place to
Oh, we good.
to the closest place to a why is that? To the closest place to a welcome center in Sigil or in the Hive. You all attempt to believe really hard and you somehow manage to fucking port yourselves directly in front of a large gray stone building, which you can see corpses being carted into, and with a fellow out front sweeping and doing his best to keep the area clean.
Any signage?
Ba-ba-dum-ba-da. What's the fucking name of this place? Right. It's just labeled the mortuary.
How welcoming. I mean, Christona sees no problem with this, but...
Yes. Can I help you?
Diggeray is trying really hard not to laugh out loud at this guy.
New to Sigil. Best place to find information?
Information about what?
Well, let's start with how not to get killed.
Looking at the corpses.
Don't fight anybody. Don't bother the lady. And don't fight anybody. And he vaguely points his broom behind you guys. Especially not folks like them.
Look that way.
There's a pair of what are very obviously demons standing on the far side of the street. Standing on the far side of the street from you.
Oh
chatting to each other.
Bristle slightly, but hopefully not any demons we've met, because we had to deal with a few of those.
Make a Arcana or Religion check.
Hmm.
Yeah, no one I recognize.
Nope.
They just look like demons. Oh. Apparently Bauer is the only one who knows this. Yeah, Bauer. Those are Abishai.
Abahu?
Dancing Queen.
AKA. Oh my god. AKA Tiamat's personal devils. Dragon devils.
Fun.
You see a black one and a red one standing across the street from you.
Gonna look
It's
back
neutral
to
here.
Yeah.
It's neutral here. You don't bother the lady. You don't get in fights. You don't fuck with the Davis. And he shrugs.
Who is
You just
the
live.
lady?
How did you get to Sigil without knowing who the lady?
It was by a fork. We got forked hard.
He's still recovering.
The lady rules. Rules? Sigil. She's known as the Lady of Pain. She has very few rules. The peace is kept. And she is not worshipped. Those are her only rules. If you break them, the lady will kill you. Or she'll send you to one of her mazes.
That should be simple. About to say simple enough and then pauses that we shall figure it out. Looking at like especially like Sadok at this point. And Bauer a little bit, but it should be alright. Then where is the best place to rest? And like looking back at Sadok, looking like shit.
If you've got a couple coins, you can rest here. As long as you don't mind
Don't mind a mutt.
slab.
What's the next thing up price-wise?
Well,
Are there any churches in the city? Blessed Hands,
No.
preferably? Okay.
there are no churches in Sigil. The lady forbids it. She is not worshipped. No one is worshipped here. No gods or other powers are permitted in the city.
3 rules.
She is in control here. No one else.
Are there inns?
Head, and he thinks for a moment. Head down 2 streets, past the Davis, working there. Up one to the right. You'll find an inn there called the Hive's Drink. Cheap. Lazy bugs. Best around here.
Stone will nod at that and think a moment and then take a couple gold pieces out of her pouch and hand it to him. Thank you.
Thank you. He'll slip it into his dark robes.
Start heading that way.
Alright. You find yourselves following his directions. You pass by what appears to be a humanoid with goat horns and yellow tan skin, who is floating just a few inches above the ground, around where he said you might meet at Davis. Ba-ba-da-ba. You pass by him, head to the Hive's Drink. You come into a dirty, poorly lit inn, where despite it being early in the afternoon, is still filled with people drinking and muttering to each other at tables. There is a group dicing in the back corner, another group playing cards, what look like a few ladies of various reputes about. It's a dive bar. Lady of Negotiable Virtue. That's the name.
Should we rest
My
here?
kind of place.
That answers that.
All right. You guys want to rest up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well.
All
Sure.
right. Oh boy. All right.
Oh dear.
No. I was going to ask you guys if you were okay with ending here tonight, because I have
Yeah.
not a ton prepared for Sigil,
Yeah.
That's fine.
because I'm an idiot and gave you something cool without thinking of the consequences.
It's okay. I don't think about the consequences of my actions either.
Yeah. I don't even know I honestly don't know what the fuck you guys are going to do in Sigil now.
It's mostly just like resting up, like getting Sadok rested up, and then we have a way to get back.
Yeah,
Like maybe like arcane items. That's
Yeah.
definitely think we should get some stuff for non-detection.
yeah.
Yeah.
Might be useful. Yeah, stick whatever you want to buy. That sweet, sweet downtime activities channel, and you can look for it between games. But yeah, I have like 10 tabs open of Sigil stuff trying to like pull together enough lore.
The sad part is like just watch we get back and we're like basically kind of still following what he was doing anyway up to a certain point. Like we're enemies, but we're doing probably the same thing. We probably wouldn't actually fuck with his plans at all. We probably just want to kill him after it's all done.
You can certainly try. You can certainly try.
Just the funny thing.
Yeah.
Just like let's run away from this, but then not actually fuck with his plans immediately or at any point.
I feel like we should definitely kill him at some point.
Well, yeah, but who knows?
Like I said, you can certainly try.
I feel like we potentially get Tyr to help with that. Maybe. Hopefully.
Well, I mean, Tyr gave him the thing in the first place. If I'm assuming he's telling the truth about that, then.
I mean, Nolan backed him up on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's probably how it went down.
You should be like, yeah, Tyr, you know that whole boon, terrible curse thing you gave this one asshole? Yeah, he's gonna probably fuck with a lot of shit.
It seems to be that he's ultimately, this is inevitably heading towards he's going to destroy the world.
That is
Or at least murder everybody on it.
That is definitely one way you can look at him, yeah. He's kind of an asshole.
Aren't they all?
Oh.
In one way or another. Including us.
Yeah.
Including us. I'm not leaving us out of this.
Why do you think like half of the guys that you've met have been like, yeah, let the past die? They kind of all hate each other.
Oh yeah.
For various reasons. But yeah. Sometimes I wish that I'd set something up to make you guys a little bit more stationary in the world. So I could have you dig more into like individual places. Maybe next campaign.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? Giant assholes present in the game.
Like on one point I feel like I should give nomination to Sadok, but at the same point, should I be encouraging that type of behavior?
Yes.
And the answer is yes, so I take it.
Alright.
I accept this encouragement of new behavior this.
This ain't new behavior.
I mean, it's fine. Wish isn't on the cleric list, so I can't get but so out of hand.
On the other hand,
Yes, giant assholes, Moons of Vega, giant assholes. So many assholes in this game. including us.
I mean, you're what, Ranger 11? Maximum spells you're gonna get on your own are 5th. Actually, what did you end up
Even
taking?
less than that.
What did you end up taking your 13th level in?
Fighter.
Oh, so you're maxing out at 4th level spells.
Welp. This is fine. We just get really good arcane shit for you to fire at people here.
Basically. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I know this session got a little esoteric in topic. I hope it wasn't too fucking weird. And at least somewhat comprehensible.
Mostly. Not weird. It's just I'm terrible with that stuff, so I'm trying to wrap my head around it, so I'm probably the incomprehensible one. Well, that stuff gets away from me a lot.
It's a belief. So all of Yualia is ultimately a belief-driven world.
Yes. Well, we're operating mostly under Planescape rules. So the multiverse as a whole is heavily belief-driven.
Okay, I'm not particularly familiar with Planescape rules, but I did play a lot of Mage the Awakening, so
Right. Yeah.
I am familiar with the Underdying concept.
Similar idea, I think. Like Planescape, you get like the example. I think I gave several weeks ago. I gave an example of like you can literally debate people out of existence. That's a thing. Like
I might be able to convince people they don't exist.
Oh, yeah. Because then I started looking into how to build a bard that could have the highest persuasion possible.
Oh yeah.
I didn't go with expertise and persuasion, but I do have a plus 15 to deception so far, and I'm not trying hard to get that up there.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so my first introduction to Planescape was through Planescape Torment, which probably does not surprise anybody who's played that game. But one of the things you can do, the game is set in Sigil, and one of the things you can do is you can go around and introduce yourself by a fake name to people. And if you do that to enough people, you will eventually find somebody by that name who exists solely because because you've been introducing yourself as him to people. And their belief in that name created a new person. It's kind of neat. You actually get a magic item for talking to him and shit. It's like a decent ring. And if you ask him where he came from and ask him too many pointed questions, he gets frustrated and then vanishes again.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Neat game. Highly recommend. Unfortunately, it plays on 2nd edition mechanics. So there's that. But nothing's perfect. Yeah. I have nothing else. I guess I need to go read a bunch of Sigil lore and figure out what the fuck happens next.
Yay.
Yay!
We'll think up ways to derail things again next week.
Yay!
And by think up, we'll just pull random shit out of our asses time.
Yeah, because it's not really about thinking about it. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, thinking is definitely a strong word for what we do here.
I'll try to do now.
I know you will.
I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice holder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice holder. I'm proud to be in whatever I'm a natural 20 when it comes to